Today we continue our series of the most popular parks and places across the United States. If you have a suggested park, add it to the comments below and I'll see if I can include it. At over a mile deep, 10 miles wide, and 277 miles long, the Grand Canyon is one of the natural wonders of the world. So you're thinking about visiting the Grand Canyon. This is a very popular destination. A lot of foreign travelers fly into Los Angeles, then drive to Las Vegas, and then drive to the Grand Canyon before returning to Los Angeles. When I meet such travelers, they all say the same thing. It's so far to drive with nothing in between. Visiting the Grand Canyon can be done several ways. You can take a sightseeing tour over the Grand Canyon. You can take a raft trip through the Grand Canyon. You can hike or take a mule down into the Grand Canyon. But what most people do is they view the Grand Canyon from the top, along either the North Rim or the South Rim. My family and I did hike the Bright Angel Trail all the way down to the bottom of the canyon. As we did that as an overnight trip, but I was 6 at the time, so I don't remember much. The hike is 8 miles from the South Rim to the river at the bottom of the canyon, or 10 miles to get to the campground at the bottom. But remember, what goes down must come up. Some people do this as a day hike, but you need to be prepared to do a 16 to 20 mile steep desert hike all in one day. To view the canyon from the top, you have to make a decision. Are you going to drive to the North Rim, or are you going to drive to the South Rim? People typically go to one or the other, but not both. Although the North and South Rims are only 10 miles apart, as a crow flies, it's over 200 miles to drive. Which choice you make is usually determined by where you're coming from and what time of year you're visiting the Grand Canyon. We went to the North Rim only once, way back in 1987. We were camping at Zion National Park. We looked at a map and said, hey, the Grand Canyon's only about 100 miles from here. At that point, Darlene never had been to the Grand Canyon, so we drove as a day trip from Zion to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon. The North Rim is at an elevation nearly 8,300 feet. At this elevation, you're going to find pine trees, cooler temperatures, and snow. The North Rim of the Grand Canyon doesn't open until May 15th because of winter conditions. So if you're planning on visiting the Grand Canyon before May 15th, your only option is the South Rim. The South Rim is 1,500 feet lower than the North Rim. Rather than pine trees, you'll find desert vegetation and desert temperatures. The elevation of the South Rim is still 6,800 feet, so it's a high altitude desert. In the summer, expect cool nights and hot days. I've been to the South Rim of the Grand Canyon several times during the summer, and it's hot. But the last time we visited the Grand Canyon, we went in May, and it was nice. In the morning, you needed a heavier jacket, but by afternoon it was perfect. The South Rim is more popular than the North Rim. So to ease congestion, they have a free shuttle bus system. Some roads are only accessible by bus, including those that go to the most popular viewpoints. This isn't a bad thing, but it requires a little bit more preparation. You have to pack a bag and include a jacket, include extra batteries and some food and water before you hop on the bus for the day. The best part about it is you don't have to fight to find a place to park, and it's quiet. The road along the west side of the South Rim is the most popular with the most iconic views of the Grand Canyon. This road is only open to buses. We took the bus to Hermit's Rest and got off at every stop. Some stops are nicer than others. Those less spectacular stops, you still get off the bus, take a picture if you want, and get on the next bus to the next stop. Spend as much time as you want at the spectacular spots. And then when you're ready, grab a bus to the next stop. We started the bus ride to Hermit's Rest in the morning, and we spent most of the day enjoying the sights along the way. We walk around at each stop, we take lots of pictures, and we really just enjoy taking our time. I'm sure this can be done in way less time, or you don't have to go all the way to Hermit's Rest. Many, O Lord my God, are the wonders which you have done, and your thoughts towards us. There is none to compare with you. If I would declare and speak of them, they would be too numerous to count. Desert View Drive is the east side of the South Rim. This is less popular, less crowded, and hence it's open to public driving. We spent 2 full days enjoying the sights along the South Rim of the Grand Canyon. Back to the question of North Rim or South Rim. If you're planning a trip to the Grand Canyon specifically, or if you're going before May 15th, then my recommendation is to go to the South Rim. There are more of those beautiful sights that you see on the internet or in books on the South Rim, and only the South Rim is open before May 15th. If you're planning a vacation that includes the spectacular parks of Utah, and you want to include the Grand Canyon in your vacation, well then I would recommend going to the North Rim. Some people ask which viewpoint is the best. Those are usually those people that are in a hurry and don't have a lot of time. If you're pressed for time, then I'd say the views at the visitor centers is really quite nice. The picture behind me was taken at Yavapai Point, which is near the South Rim Visitor Center. You might say that since we chose to blow up that picture out of all the pictures that we took, then we must think that Yavapai Point is the best. Or maybe I just like sunsets the best. Which brings up the point of staying for sunset. Sunsets in the Grand Canyon are spectacular. Stay for the sunset if you can make that work in your plans. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.